Hey folks, and welcome back to the Project Enlightenment. And today I'm going to enlighten you people on the first law of habit formation. We have been doing a commentary on the world's bestseller, Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. Well, in my previous videos, and for those who haven't watched the previous videos, I have explained the powers of small habits and tiny improvements and the impact of those tiny improvements on your life in the long run. Well, I have put the link below in the description and you can watch those videos and you can have a complete understanding of the powers of small habits. Well, the first law states, make it obvious. Well, I'm going to give you people a quick recapitulation of the previous videos and how habits are formed. Well, you see that anything that we do and until it becomes part of who we are and part of our identity, has to go through 4 different levels: cue, craving, response, and reward. You see, cue is a piece of information or stimulus that suggests a reward, and reward is, according to James Clear, is a solution to our problems. So the habits are in fact solutions to our problems. So cue is a suggestion or it's a stimulus that triggers craving, and craving is an internal pressure or it's a motivational force that makes you take action, and once you take action, that is response, and you respond to your cravings because you want a reward, and once you have this reward and you keep it continuous because you are enjoying the reward now. So upon keeping this continuous for a certain period of time, your brain is conditioned to it, right? You train your brain, so this thing, whatever you have been doing, is now part of your identity. We have reached the essence of habit formation. So the primary contributor to habit formation is the cues. The cues or the indicators, the stimulus, the information that lead up to the creation of potential habit. Well, if we want to develop certain habit, we have to look for the cues, the indicators, the stimulus, and we have to surround ourselves with the stimulus. Before formation of habits, it is very important to do self-assessment and self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is something that is introspection, right? Thinking deeply about your desires and about your activities. So the best way to come up with the right activities or your potential habits is to make a list of your behaviors. Well, your routine activities from morning to evening, and then you have to decide and think objectively whether this habit is going to be useful for my career, for my job, for my life. And then what you need to do is you have to create the cues yourself, right? Wherever you go, make those cues available to you. It can be your house, it can be your playground, it can be workplace, it can be your bedroom, or anywhere you think the cues are now accessible and you can easily surround yourself with the cues. And you know that cues are the primary contributors to habit formation. In chapter 6 of this book, Motivation is Overrated and Environment Often Matters More, you see motivation is not the only tool that makes people have a particular habit. Environment is something that's more important. Well, you see, environment is something that provides us with cues, right? And cues are something, these are the basic contributors to habit formation. If you go to library, you see you have been surrounded, with books, and you pick a book directly or indirectly, you start in reading it, right? Because you have been surrounded by books, and your environment has provided you with a lot of cues. Well, you see, when you go to a worship place, you do not speak louder. You have to speak, in whispers, because environment is something, that has given you condition and that has given you cues, right? And these cues are very important, for habit formation. So I'm going to read this excerpt, from this book. Every habit is initiated by a cue, and we are more likely to notice cues that stand out. Unfortunately, the environments where we live and work often make it easy not to do certain actions because there is no obvious cue to trigger the behavior. It is easy not to practice guitar when it is tucked away in the closet. It is easy not to read a book when the bookshelf is in the corner of the guest room. It is easy not to take your vitamins when they are out of sight in the pantry. When the cues that spark a habit are subtle or hidden, they are easy to ignore. So always make these cues available to you. Always keep these cues, in an accessible place. And the time and location, as I told you people earlier, are very important, cues that can easily trigger certain habits.